Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today, yes, I have the large Sebenza 21, pretty iconic knife. This is a Wilson Combat Edition. And as usual, we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this one. First of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. This is up against his little brother, like a small Sebenza 21, also in Wilson Combat Edition. And this is up against a big brother, like the Zan, also from Reeve knives. As you can see, a little bit smaller hand than the Zan, but, quite bigger than the 21. Now, up next, we can compare it up against the Spyderco PM2. As you can see, it's almost like comparable size for the handle, but look at the cutting edge. Substantially bigger, and this is up against Spyderco PM3 right over here, and this is your mini glimpse from Bag Knives Steelcraft Edition. So let's analyze a little bit of the look of this guy, because this is something like, unmistakable. It's really an icon. It's a symbol. It's a benchmark. It's a staple in the knife industry. Reeve designed this guy in the 90s. I think that it started in 1990, producing an older version of the Sebenza, and it remained like a classic production for Reeve knives. This is made in Idaho, US, and it's, again, something that you cannot mistake. This design, it's very simple, it's very clean. This is the Wilson Combat Edition, so you're gonna see, these sun rays over here, these star burst lines that, are gonna be the only difference, basically, from the plain Jane edition, which is gonna be just, plain slabs. The colors are just gray, but this is just because this is this edition. Of course, you have many wood, inlay woods options. You can choose like a Damascus blade. This thumb stud can be blue anodized, can be gold anodized, or like silver, like this one. You can have polished screws. You can have small, large. You can have lefty. So you can configure, your Sebenza, in a nice way. It's up to your taste. So it's pretty beautiful. The shape is. Again, unmistakable. This line, it's incredible because it looks like straight, but it's actually not. It's just gently curved, and I appreciate these subtle details. For example, like you see, these holes here have reinforced shoulders to, not to give up any strength in the, right in this position over here as well, because it's like pretty close to the edge. So to gain more strength, they just, thickened up a little bit the scale in this point, and it's just incredible. So the attention to the details on this one, it's outstanding. It's that's why, Sebenza is that famous, because, there's lots of quality design and research put into this one, and that's why I think it could stand, the test of time. Sebenza, it's a Zulu word, which means work, and it's for a reason, because you can put really this guy to work, and you're not gonna be disappointed. So let's check out the materials, because these are titanium scales. These are sandblasted, so the finish, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, when the blade is new. Of course, it's a little bit delicate if you toss it in the pocket with your keys or coins. It's gonna get scratched up. Like, for example, you see the small here. This is a user, so it has just some nice trail. But again, these are gonna just confer some nice character and to the knife. So just be mindful of that. If you like, some like pristine look, I suggest not to toss in your pocket with other keys. You have, a nice thumb stud over here. You can choose to get one thumb stud or two. It's up to you. This one reminds me like, these kids play ring toys kind of thing. And it's it's just a funny thing. I thought about that. there's one nice finger groove over here. This is also serves as a lock bar relief cut. So you can just jam your thumb in and just disengage the lock bar. You have all handles chamfered all around. Like, look at these lines here. There's not a single sharp edge, nowhere. They even chamfered, as you can see, the inside a little bit. So if you rub your finger like in this direction here, you're not gonna feel anything. So beautiful. You have the jimping here. And if you check with your fingernail and you count these grooves, you're gonna notice they're 21 for a reason. So this is a super cool detail over here. There's no lock face insert over here, because titanium is softer than steel. So when the tang of the blade enters in contact with the titanium, it has a tendency to create some lock stick. But there's no need for this one. I never experienced Sebenza with lock stick because Chris Reeve carbidizes the surface, this contact surface of the lock bar in order to strengthen it, to harden it, and to avoid lock stick. So there's no need for a lock face insert. And also, the geometry is pretty spot on. And I mean, this guy invented the frame lock. It's called the Chris Reeve Integral Frame Lock for a reason, and it's still used to date by many companies, and it's widely renowned as a pretty safe and solid locking mechanism for the blade. You have for the lock bar an internal relief cut, you see over here, so it doesn't detract anything from the exterior design, and it's done in a way so to create the right amount of tension for the lock bar to be bent and just push the blade nicely, so it's not too hard or not too soft. You have something amazing here, which is the construction. This is amongst the simplest construction ever, because I mean, beside the integral handle knives, which are have one screw over here. You have 3 screws and 2 slabs, 1 blade, washers. You're done. I mean, pocket clip. But if you want to disassemble this guy and maintain and lube it and clean it, it's super easy. You just can easily just loosen a little bit these two, remove the pivot, and just slide out the blade. That's it. You clean it up and you pop that in again. Put the pivot in, tighten it up. It's gonna be perfect. There's gonna be no issues. In fact, Chris Reeve's encouraging you by selling you also like an Allen key, number 2, to disassemble the knife. And he's saying, even if you can't put it back together, just send it to us. We're gonna do it for you at no charge. Even, the warranty is so good that if you buy this guy from like secondary market or new, whatever, you can always send it back for a spot treatment. You're gonna have to wait a little bit of time, of course, and pay for shipping costs, but it's gonna be free of charge. So you're gonna have like a reblasted scales. They're gonna, tune it up and bring it back to like as if it would be new. So that's a great service that they provide. The pivot here, it's not captive because it's a bushing pivot, which means there's like a cylinder which sticks inside a hole of the blade. And that means you have these pivot screws which can be tightened as hard as you want, but they're not gonna squeeze the blade because of the bushing pivot, preventing the scales to squeeze the blade too much and render the action not smooth. So the action on the Sebenza 21 will be always smooth because the bushing pivot is the right height of the blade. It's the same thickness as the blade stock plus the thickness of the 2 washers above and below. Exactly that. So you can tighten these scales as much as you want. You're not gonna end up with a lousy action whatsoever. So that's a great design. Like, I mean, the pocket clip also is a great design. It has a great thumb ramp. It's the Sebenza clip, so it's super functional, but I think it's too simple. I mean, I get it. The Sebenza, it's a simple knife, but the pocket clip, I think it's too simple for, especially for the price you're gonna pay. So that's my probably only gripe I have with this knife. It's not reversible. It's tip up only. So the knife is not ambidextrous. You're gonna have to get a lefty version if you're a lefty. There is a lanyard hole over here. In the previous versions, they used like a lanyard tube with a lanyard attached. So you know, if you wanted to remove the lanyard, you also had to remove the lanyard tube. There was no way for the tube to remain there because it was just a cylinder with a hole drilled in. So it was just falling off. So you had to cut a piece of paracord, just burn the edges and just let it stick out a little bit so to prevent the lanyard tube from falling out. Now they just updated the design and they did a shouldered lanyard tube, so you can just remove the lanyard and leave the tube there if you prefer. Of course, there's no back spacer, just a couple of standoffs over here, and as you can see, blade, it's gonna be like 100% centered. So let's check out the blade actually, because it's something beautiful. It's in S35VN, so top level, top notch steel. It's good to go. You're not gonna have any issues. The stock thickness, it's like the perfect thickness for an EDC knife. It gives like that that strength, you know, and you can see it tapers down to a, you know, sturdy but thin tip. The grind, guys, this grind is hollow, so that means it's like curved, it's not flat. In fact, you can see in the reflections over here. But check out how thin behind the edge this guy is. It's beautiful. So that means it translates in a pretty long life of this blade. You can sharpen this guy many times and you're gonna still have a pretty thin edge. This is a drop point configuration. You can get also the Sebenza in like a Tanto or with an Insingo blade, which have different profiles. I think, you know, Tanto and drop point are my favorite, but, you know, it depends on the work you're gonna be doing on this one. All of them, they are gonna have like a nice sharpening choil. There's no finger choil on the blade. You can just use this area here if you wanna, you know, hold the knife a little bit on in a advanced position. You have a pretty nice plunge grind which hides behind the scale, but reveals like how crazy thin this blade is. Come on, guys, look at this. That's just beautiful. Edge symmetry is spot on, as well as the grind symmetry. I never seen you know, an uneven grind on a Sebenza. You've got a little bit of like a thumb ramp over here. You see that just rises a little bit. And, you know, it gets down to this little triangle here to transform the lines into this beauty over here. This spine is insane. I love it. Like there's an angle like here and then goes down here, and it's just beautifully crowned. It's a joy to touch this area here. There's not really a swedge, and there's no billboarding, most importantly, on the blade. It's just clean, sterile look. You got, you know, the logo over here only, and you have Idaho made on the inside. There were some previous versions with no Idaho made, so it was even cleaner. And of course, you have your Wilson Combat logo over here. There's the detent ball is made of steel. It's not ceramic, and there's no skeletonization on the inside. But I mean, it's not a big deal. This knife, it's not heavy whatsoever. Let's hear some noises, because Sebenza has the Sebenza noise, like has the Sebenza look, has the Sebenza feel. It became like an adjective in the knife world to describe or to compare other blades. So hear this one. This is when you flick the knife. Come on, guys. This is what I'm talking about. It's a rich and loud, not too loud, but it's a rich and sweet sound. Beautiful. Oh, you really know, if you're in a park and you hear this one, you're going to turn around and say, hey, who's got a Sebenza? Show me that. So it's, you cannot mistake this one. As well as the muffled, a little bit and mellow, but still sweet chime you get when you close the blade. Guys, hear this again. This is unique. I'm not sure, you know, the mic is capable of truly grasping all the little nuances this clink has. I like to refer to this like as two champagne flutes clinking together, because it's that sweet. It's sharp, and it's like a nice tinkle. It's beautiful. I love it. The feeling when you handle the blade, you know, this is like a 3.6 inch blade, and but in the hand, I don't know why it feels smaller. It doesn't feel like 3.6 inches. It's great. Like the ergonomic are pretty fantastic, except for this tip over here. That is why, you know, you can get some custom pocket clip, like for example, like this guy over here, which is absolutely perfect. You know, has no locks, no hotspot in this part, as you can see, being flush like that. It's not sticking out like this one. You know, it's gonna be much better in my opinion. So that's why this is my only gripe with the Sebenza 21. But overall, the feeling is amazing, guys. There's no hot spots on the handles, only, you know, this little bit over here. The jimping is functionally great. It's not too sharp, it's not aggressive, it's there, it's functional. So you're gonna use it, and it's gonna serve you nicely. You know, you can also do like a nice reverse grip, and the handle being a little bit bigger, you know, than my hand, for example. It's perfect. Look at this, my thumb just like falls into this place. It's great. You can choke up, you know, a little bit up to here, and it's gonna be great, because you're gonna naturally be pushing this side, and the thumb is gonna push this side, so you're gonna have a pretty secure grip. The feeling you have when you hold this blade, it's like something robust, something absolutely solid. It's not an integral knife, but I don't know. It feels pretty robust. The smoothness of the texture is good. It's not the best, because I mean it's a mixed feeling you're gonna get, like between like smooth and sandy rough, because they sandblast the scales in a way, so you get some nice feedback from touching this one. The Wilson Combat Edition, having these sun rays grooves milled out, it's gonna give you a little bit more traction, more grip to your, you know, when you're gonna squeeze the handle. Nothing too crazy compared to the plain Jane, but I think if you want an extra grip, you're gonna probably have to go with the inlays one. And this is the carbon fiber inlays. You can get like wood, micarta. You can get some old school mammoth, some crazy beautiful inlays. And this is gonna, you know, increase the thickness of the knife and give you a beefier handle to squeeze on. So you're gonna have a little bit more grip with one of those. What else? There's, okay, no gaps. Like no imperfections, no blade play, vertical, horizontal, just nothing. I mean, it's solidly built, man. Guys, this is a Sebenza 21. What can I tell you more? So the feelings when you deploy the blade. It's, of course, this is not like a fidgety knife, like, for example, I don't know, this is like your Benchmade 943. You know, you can pretty much, you know, play all day long, and it's gonna be super fidgety. Sebenza is not like that, but Sebenza, it's all about smoothness. It's slow. Yeah, you can still, you know, flick it open like that if you want. You don't need any wrist action, just a good technique. You see, you just have to do this movement, not this movement. Just, you know, just do like this. It's gonna flick open, but you're gonna have this thumb stud over here like dinging a little bit in your tip of your thumb. So it's not ideal. It's not like the most pleasant feeling, but still it's doable, you know. But the point of the Sebenza is just being smooth. And this is what I'm talking about. So this feeling here, it's insane. It's like, yeah, glass on glass with some butter on the inside, sandwiched. That's the feeling, you know, you're gonna get. It's you know, this is running on washers, like phosphorus bronze washers, which have pockets on the inside, like holes, which can retain the grease, you know, in between the scale and the blade, so that the grease stays there and it's gonna be always lubricated, and it's gonna give you this beautiful smooth feeling, which is top notch. So just a beautiful action, even if it's not the fastest deployment method out there. Guys, this is smooth. The detent strength is a little bit on the light side. It's not like the strongest, but you can, there's no way you can shake this open or open this knife with gravity. There's no way, because, you know, of the bushing and the washer system over here. Of course, you know, they made it so it's super safe. Look at this. My fingertip will never be able to touch the tip of the blade because it's recessed inside. So great, great design over here. And of course, no rattling whatsoever when you're gonna shake this guy, because it's just solidly built. When you close the knife, you're gonna have to, you know, to push this lock bar in this direction. There's a relief cut over here, and they even chamfered like the lock bar on this inside to better allocate your thumb. So as I said, there's not gonna be any lock stick whatsoever because of the carbidized lock face. There's no detent ball ramp, so you're gonna have, you see it like this little step over here, but it doesn't take away anything from the feeling experience. If you just release the lock bar, you see the blade is gonna free fall, but there's no guillotine effect. Even if you shake it, it's gonna stay there. There's no way. I mean, unless you polish the washers, and in that case you might risk to reduce the tolerances too much, and so to void the warranty, which, you know, I don't recommend to do. But in that case, you would get some guillotine effect kind of thing. But I'm honestly in love with this action over here. This is what made the Sebenza famous. This is why people get the Sebenza. So, you know, it's something that you need to try, because it's just unique. If you haven't tried a Sebenza, I mean, are you even into knives? I don't know. So let me know in the comment what do you think, because I truly like this guy over here. All right, guys, this was my review of the large Sebenza 21. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.